Hey y'all, welcome back to the DSM Podcast. Today we're going to talk about something that's been on my mind lately. Not maybe on you guys' mind, but it's on my mind as well. Not about money, it's not about relationships, even though I just went through a breakup. But it's where do you see yourself on your self-love journey in like 5 years? Or 10 years. Some people think even further than that. Some people think ahead of time and already have their life planned out. But I'm talking about like yourself, like the relationship you have with yourself. Like when you sit down, you think about everything else, but not your future. You don't think about. Some people don't think about that. And for those that don't think about, I want you to have the courage to think about that as part of your self-love journey. So let's talk about how to really have a conversation with yourself about, hey, what do I see myself in 5 years? You ever notice how we plan everything else in our lives, but we don't really sit and think about how we want to grow with ourselves? So, like for instance, I've been asking myself, what would self-love look like for me 5 years from now? And not the cute Instagram, self filters and all that other stuff that you guys are saying that, oh my God, this makes me look cute. You're already beautiful as you are. And I know everybody's been saying that. People be like, yeah, everybody always says that, this is that. No, I really mean it. Like, do you guys talk yourself down? Do you feel like you talk yourself down, like talk down to yourself? Like, again, the boundaries. Are you setting real boundaries? Are you keeping them? Are you being consistent in making sure those boundaries are met with yourself before you judge other people for not meeting them? Make sure you're meeting your own boundaries before you get mad about somebody else not meeting your boundaries, because you can't even meet your own boundaries. You get what I'm saying? So ask yourself, hey, can I sit in silence and actually feel peace with myself? Think about that for a second. Where you are on your self-love journey right now, present. But also ask yourself, like, where do you want to be? It's 5 years from now. Picture your life like, okay, what's going on in my life right now? The self-love, like, what do I want to picture? What is my portrait of 5 years from now? I can sit here and tell you guys right now, 5 years from now, I want to be at peace. I want to be at peace. I'm already seeing my podcast business just, up to par. Family. Stable, wealthy, healthy, good man, a mom. I don't know about marriage. And being able to, help in life. And number one, keeping a relationship with God as well. So, picture yourself from 5 years from now. You learn how to give yourself grace. You don't second guess yourself like you used to. You actually trust yourself, your gut, your decisions, your voice. Isn't that something isn't that a place where you want to be? Where your boundaries, man, you got boundaries. You don't set boundaries, and you're not nervous about, setting those boundaries with people from now on your self-love journey, because it takes time when it comes to self-love. It takes time. You can't just wake up one day and be like, I got self-love. But then something happens, life tests you. Life puts you to the test, and then you fail miserably. That's why it's always, when you're working on self-love, that's already self-love, because you're working on self-love, and you got to be patient with working on self-love, because that's also self-love in itself. So I wanted to, do a quick video, because that was something that was on my mind. about, where would you see yourself in 5 years on this self-love journey? And people this year in 2025, there's a lot of young girls out there that just be like, I don't feel like I love myself. And then you say you do, but then you're not showing it, and that's not a problem. So for those that's listening to this podcast on YouTube, I want you to, while you're listening to this podcast, also pause the video for a sec, drop a comment, and let me know, where do you want to be in 5 years on your self-love journey? Or better yet, talk to your future self in comments. Hey, future me, I hope you'll stop apologizing for existing. Self-love is not a straight line. You grow, sometimes you fall. You can get up, you heal, you learn. But if you keep checking in with yourself, loving yourself through the messy parts, the confused parts, the tired parts, imagine the version of you'll be 5 years from now. That version of you. They're already proud of you for even thinking about this today. Yourself is proud of you for thinking about this today. So again, take time out of your day. This is something I also want you guys to write in your journal and really think. Don't just go off the first thought, because it can change. You don't even have to. That question, where do I want to see myself in 5 years? That question can take a month for you to even answer, because you have to really sit and think. And if you don't know at the moment, write the question down, think about it. Don't just sit there looking at the paper. Think about it, give yourself a wow, and a goal or a business that you have, that you're a talent. Like for instance, there's people that dance. They're really talented dancers. But just because they're really talented dancers doesn't mean that's where they want to see themselves in years. That's just a talent they have. But the majority of people that have a talent of dancing, they're already planning their future 10 years from now on becoming a famous dancer. Having their own dance channel or movie. So I want you guys to think about that, about yourself. Think about that. And it's for you. Don't think about somebody else's 5 years from now. Think about your 5 years from now. Because at the end of the day, people are going to keep living their life. They're not going to worry about you. That's why this is why self-love is very important. Because some people, they'll sit around and wait for somebody to care for them. And I understand, it feels good to know that somebody cares about you. But at the end of the day, even though it will hurt that somebody doesn't care about you, you know that you care about you. And you're like, I got me. I care about me. I mean, it's messed up that they don't care about me, but I care about myself. And God cares about me. So that's all that matters. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up. But I just wanted to do a little check-in, reminder, self-love is the journey back to you, and every step counts in your self-love journey. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this podcast. I hope you guys really are going to think about this. Thank you for listening.